Hello, this is Johnny Henson, Professor Poole with Billiard University out of Phoenix, Arizona. Today in this lesson, I'm going to cover the importance of how to avoid using draw shots and a lot of draw in your game. Years ago, when I played in the pool halls and I played played in the pool halls and played in tournaments and everything else, a lot of top players said, Johnny, if you don't learn how to draw that ball, that cue ball, you're never going to be a great player. Well, see, I kind of bought into that. So for years, I probably left myself a lot of shots where I had to draw the cue ball off another ball in order to get somewhere where I needed to go. Well, that's just what you do, right? But it was years later when I started hanging around with some professionals. And one thing I'll never forget a professional telling me, he said, Johnny, if you really want to improve your game, you need to roll to where you want to go. I want you to remember that. Roll to where you want to go. Because he said, if you'll notice, I run racks all the time, and sometimes I'll never do a draw shot or a below center shot. In fact, a top level pro once told me that if I run into a shot where I need to go more than let's say 1 tip, 2 tips below center on a shot, especially if it's a hard shot where there's a low margin for error. He said, but before I'll shoot that shot, I'll consider shooting a safety, and I thought, really? And so as I became an instructor, I realized how hard it is to hit the ball absolutely dead center, and when you're below the center of the mass, or when you're doing a draw shot on this ball, then it's really, really increasing your error, the error on the shot. So what you really want to do is roll to where you want to go. Another thing too, where do you think you're going to be more accurate? Let's say I hit a ball and I roll, I can probably control that roll a whole lot better than how far am I going to draw off of that ball. That just makes logical sense. If I'm hitting this ball at a certain speed, I can almost tell you exactly where the cue ball is going to end up. But if I'm drawing off that same object ball, I don't know where it's going to end up. Maybe I draw back a foot, maybe I draw back a foot and a half, because maybe I got a little bit too much draw on it. Maybe I hit it a little bit harder than I thought, whatever it is. So you're a lot easier able to control where your cue ball is if you're rolling to where you want to go or hitting above center hits, okay? And just like the balls are here, top level pro one time said that she played in a tournament, a complete tournament, where she said, I shot very, very little draw shots. I mean, we're talking like, I don't know how many shots that she shot in the tournament, probably hundreds. But she said, I probably didn't have 5 below center hits in the entire tournament. And she said the reason is you got to plan on not drawing. I want you to remember that. You got to plan on not drawing that cue ball. So let's say that I'm trying to leave on the 2, and let's say that I'm here. Well, then I'm going to roll. I'm going to roll. But now let's say that I'm here, or I leave my cue ball here. Well, naturally I'm going to hit it, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to roll out, and I'm going to be perfect on the 2. So if I leave this cue ball in the proper position, right? Now if I leave it here, now I'm going to have to draw back to get to where I need to go. But what if I leave the cue ball here instead? Now I can hit that, come off the rail, and end up where I need to go. Does that make sense? So in other words, if you don't want to draw the cue ball, you have to plan on not drawing the cue ball. Most people, they get up there, I want to make the ball, and they think about their position after their cue ball comes to rest, which is a bad idea, okay? So basically what I want you to do from now on is when you're practicing, and every time you've left yourself a situation where you got to do a draw shot, what I want you to do in practice, because there's no foul in practice, instead of shooting it from where it is, I want you to see what position you can put your cue ball where you'll end up where you need to be. Like you're going to take your cue ball, so maybe I left myself straight in where I have to draw, right? But instead, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave my cue ball here, and I'm going to hit, and I'm going to roll to where I want to go. So I want you to practice leaving your cue ball in a different spot than what you're used to leaving it, right? Because right now you're probably just grateful to hit the ball, make it in the pocket, and you don't really care where this cue ball ends up. So basically, every time that you leave yourself a draw shot in practice, I want you to pick your cue ball up, and instead of leaving it here where I'm going to have to draw, and go 3 rails, instead I'm gonna leave my cue ball here, and I'm gonna roll exactly where I want to go, and I'm gonna make this game so easy. And my running percentage is going to go up, my winning percentage is going to go up, and this is a really great drill for you to learn how to do that. Right now, if you're doing a lot of stop shots, you're doing a lot of draw shots as part of your game, practicing this drill will help you get out of that. So basically, break the rack like you normally do, start your run, right? Every time you start running into a situation where you're going to have to draw the cue ball back, put draw on it, then think about where could I have left that cue ball? Instead of leaving it here, if I'd have left it here, I could have rolled to where I wanted to go. So give this a try. I guarantee you this drill will really help you get away from hitting a lot of unnecessary draw shots. It'll increase your accuracy. It'll increase your ability to be very accurate on where you're leaving your cue ball. Your running percentages will go up. Your winning percentages will go up. And you're going to enjoy this game a whole lot more. So anyway, I hope that this lesson's been helpful to you. And good luck and good shooting.